Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are doing something a little unusual with our source material, and honestly, it actually ended up being one of the most practical stacks of research we've covered in a while.
It really did. Usually we are wading through, dense academic journals, 50-page industry white papers, or these complex sociological studies.
Right.
But today, we're analyzing a series of transcripts from a channel called Daily English Dive.
Which sounds counterintuitive, right? Why are we analyzing materials designed to teach English as a second language? But here is the hook, and this is exactly why I wanted to do this dive. Because their audience is learning the language, the hosts of that show, Sophie and Jack, they have to strip away all the medical jargon.
All of it.
They have to cut through the confusion and the buzzwords to get to the absolute core of what makes a healthy habit stick.
It's the explain it like I'm five principle, but, applied to human physiology.
Yeah.
They boil down the complex science of health into three massive pillars: food, movement, and rest.
And when you simplify the language that much, you actually end up clarifying the thinking. It's in a way that sophisticated medical journals sometimes miss.
For sure. It forces you to focus on the what and the why without hiding behind big words.
It's sticky. That's the word I kept writing in my notes. These concepts they stick. But before we get into the how of these habits, they start with a statistic that honestly, it kind of terrified me.
The 40% rule.
The 40% rule. They mentioned that psychologists estimate that 40% of our daily actions aren't conscious decisions.
No.
They are habits.
Think about that for a second. Nearly half your day, you are essentially a robot running a script.
A robot.
You aren't actively deciding to scroll your phone or deciding to grab that cookie with your coffee. You're just executing code that you wrote maybe years ago.
That is a wild realization. We think we are the captain of the ship, steering carefully, but half the time the ship is just on autopilot.
Exactly. So the mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. How do we rewrite that code?
How do we optimize that 40% so the autopilot is actually flying us somewhere we want to go?
And the roadmap the sources give us is split into those three pillars we mentioned. They call them fuel, which is nutrition.
Fuel.
Movement, which covers exercise and activity. And recovery, which is the often ignored combination of sleep and mental health.
Okay, let's get into pillar one. Fuel, or as I labeled it in the margins, why do I want a donut right now and why does my brain hate me for it?
It's the universal struggle. And in the source material, Jack, one of the hosts, is very honest about this.
Yes.
He confesses to the sugar breakfast. He grabs a sugary latte and a chocolate donut on his way to work.
And he says he feels like a superhero for about 20 minutes. I related to that so hard. It's that instant electric buzz where you feel like you can, fight a bear or write a novel in an hour.
That's the dopamine. Sophie, the co-host, calls it a tiny party in your head.
I love that.
Your brain is evolutionarily wired to reward you for finding high-calorie, quick energy. It's saying, good job, we found energy, we survive another day.
But the problem, as they explain, is the chemistry that follows immediately after the party is over.
The crash.
The crash.
Exactly. And they used an analogy here that I thought was brilliant. They compared sugar energy to burning paper.
Paper energy. I love that visual.
Right. I mean, think about starting a fire in a fireplace. If you throw a bunch of loose paper or receipts on a fire, what happens?
It just flares up instantly. Huge flame, lots of heat, really bright. It looks impressive.
And 30 seconds later,
it's gone. Just ash. Cold ash.
That is your blood sugar on a donut. It flares up, your insulin spikes to manage it, and then it plummets. And when that drop hits, your body panics.
And you don't just feel tired, you get hangry.
Hungry plus angry?
I've definitely said things I regret while hangry. It's like a personality transplant.
We all have. It's a physiological state of emergency. Your brain is running out of glucose. So if sugar is paper energy, the sources argue we need to switch our fuel source.
To wood energy.
To wood energy.
Which would be complex carbohydrates, proteins, healthy fats.
Exactly. Oatmeal, eggs, whole grain bread, nuts. Think of a thick oak log on a fire.
Right.
It doesn't flare up instantly. It takes a minute to catch, but then it burns steadily, hot and consistent, for hours. It keeps the house warm all afternoon.
So we're trying to build a log fire, not a bonfire of receipts. That makes so much sense. It's about sustainability.
It is.
But then they moved on to something that I think a lot of us still get wrong, mostly because the diet industry lied to us for about 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
The fear of fat.
This is a major misconception the sources tackle head on. For decades, especially in the 90s, the narrative was eating fat makes you fat.
Right. Low-fat everything.
We had low-fat yogurt, low-fat cookies, low-fat everything. But Sophie points out a crucial biological fact that really stops you in your tracks.
Which is?
The human brain is 60% fat.
60%.
60. It's the fattiest organ in the body.
So if we cut out all fat because we're trying to lose weight, we're basically starving our brain.
You are stripping away the building blocks it needs to function. You need what the sources call healthy fats to think clearly, to process emotions, and to protect your heart.
Okay, but we need to make the distinction here because I don't want to tell people to go eat a stick of butter.
Right. They distinguish between good fats and bad fats. Good fats come from things that look like they came from nature avocados, nuts, olive oil, fish. Bad fats, trans fats, excessive saturated fats, usually come from things that arrive in a box or a bag from a factory.
So the stuff that's ultra-processed.
Correct. The source explains that good fats are actually necessary for vitamin absorption. This is a key point.
Oh, interesting.
You can eat all the spinach in the world, but if you don't have some fat in your system, your body can't actually absorb the vitamin K or vitamin A from it.
Wait, really? So if I eat a salad with fat-free dressing, I'm getting less out of the salad?
In a way, yes. It's making the nutrients less accessible. A handful of almonds or some olive oil makes that salad functional fuel.
It unlocks the medicine in the food.
That's a great way to put it.
That is a huge shift in perspective. Okay, so we're eating wood energy, we're embracing the avocado, but what about when we eat not because we need fuel, but because we're stressed?
Emotional eating.
The source called this emotional eating, and they had a really interesting way of diagnosing it.
This is my favorite insight from the food section. They distinguish between being hungry in the stomach and hungry in the heart.
Hungry in the heart, that hits deep. It sounds poetic, but there's a biological mechanism there too, isn't there?
There is. It's driven by cortisol, the stress hormone. When you're stressed, your body enters a fight or flight mode. Historically, that meant you needed quick energy to run from a tiger.
Right.
So your body craves high-calorie, sugary foods as a survival mechanism.
But usually I'm not running from a tiger. I'm just annoyed by an email or stuck in traffic.
Exactly. You're sitting in a chair, but your body is screaming, "Fuel me for the escape." The source suggests that if you identify that you are hungry in the heart, meaning you just ate an hour ago, but you're craving comfort food, isn't the cure.
You can't solve an emotional problem with a physical calorie.
You can't.
Yeah.
So what's the fix? You treat the stress, not the hunger. Go for a walk, call a friend, drink a glass of water. You break the cortisol loop.
Speaking of water, that brings us to hydration. And I felt personally attacked by this next part.
Whoa.
They called coffee a diuretic.
I knew you wouldn't like that part.
I drink coffee to survive. Don't tell me it doesn't count as water.
It counts as fluid, but barely. A diuretic makes your body lose water. It makes you go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So if you're drinking 4 cups of coffee a day and thinking, I'm super hydrated, you're actually running a deficit.
Oh, man.
Sophie later calls screens digital coffee, which we'll get to. But here, the point is biological. Caffeine dehydrates.
They did give a tip to make water less boring, though. Spa water.
It's simple marketing for your own brain. If water feels like a chore, you won't do it. But if you add a slice of lemon or cucumber or some mint, suddenly it feels like a treat. It feels fancy.
It's tricking your brain into thinking you're at a resort instead of your kitchen table. I like that.
Totally.
Now, before we leave food, we have to talk about the Eat the Rainbow strategy. We've heard this since kindergarten, but the way they broke it down was really specific. It's not just colors are pretty.
No, it's based on phytochemicals. Plants produce these chemicals to protect themselves, and when we eat them, they protect us. The source creates a simple color code.
Okay.
Red foods, like tomatoes or watermelon, are generally good for the heart.
Red for heart. Got it.
Green is for energy and iron, think spinach, kale, broccoli. Orange and yellow carrots, peppers, citrus are massive for the immune system. And purple.
Purple was for the brain, right?
Yes. Blueberries, blackberries, eggplants, they are packed with antioxidants that protect memory and cognitive function.
So if your plate is just brown and white meat, potatoes, bread, you aren't just missing flavor, you're missing the medicine.
You're missing the entire pharmacy. The goal they set is to have at least 3 colors on every plate.
But, and here's where the show really won me over, they don't say you have to be perfect. They introduce the 80-20 rule.
This is vital for the mental aspect of dieting. We have this tendency to be perfectionists.
Oh, completely.
If we decide to get healthy, we think we have to eat nothing but kale and steamed chicken for the rest of our lives. And that lasts about 3 days.
And then you crack, eat a pizza, feel like a failure, and give up entirely.
Exactly. The all-or-nothing trap. The 80-20 rule suggests that 80% of the time you eat the rainbow, you drink your water, you eat the wood energy.
And the other 20%.
Have the pizza, have the donut.
And enjoy it, right?
Explicitly. Sophie says, guilt is a terrible habit. If you eat a cookie, enjoy the cookie. Don't add a side order of shame. And the most forgiving advice in the whole series is, the next meal is a fresh start. You don't ruin your diet. You just made one choice, and now you can make a different one.
I think that's such a healthy mindset. It stops that spiral. Okay, let's move our bodies over to pillar 2, movement.
This section starts by addressing a barrier that I think is more psychological than physical. They call it gymtimidation.
It's a clever portmanteau. Gym and intimidation. It's that feeling when you walk into a gym, you don't know how the machines work, everyone looks like an Instagram model.
Yes.
And you feel like everyone is staring at you.
It's terrifying.
Yes.
But the source provides a reality check that I think is really comforting. They note that most people at the gym are narcissists.
Well, that's one way to put it.
I mean that in the best way. They're looking at themselves in the mirror to check their form, or looking at their phone to change the song.
Right.
They aren't looking at you. It's the spotlight effect. We think we're center stage, but everyone else is starring in their own movie. You are basically an extra in the background of their life.
That is strangely a relief. Being an extra is great, but even better, the sources argue you don't even need the gym. They introduced this concept called NEAT, N-E-A-T.
Non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
A bit of a mouthful.
It is, but the concept is simple. It's the energy you burn just living your life outside of a workout. Walking to the bus, vacuuming the rug, gardening, taking the stairs instead of the elevator.
They called these activity snacks.
Which I love. The idea is that being sedentary sitting for 8 hours straight is the real enemy. Even if you go to the gym for an hour, if you sit for the other 15 hours of the day, you're still facing health risks. It's almost better to have these little activity snacks sprinkled throughout the day than one big meal of exercise.
So cleaning my house is technically a workout. I'll take it. But what about the people who say, I only have 10 minutes, so it's not worth it?
Yes,
I hear that all the time. If I can't do 45 minutes, why bother?
That is the all-or-nothing fallacy again.
Yes.
It's a logic trap. The source is very clear here. 10 minutes is 100% better than 0.
100%.
Biologically, 10 minutes of movement wakes up your metabolism, gets blood to the brain, and lubricates the joints. Consistency beats intensity every time when you're building a habit.
And there's a chemical reward for this too, right? We talked about dopamine with the donut, but there's a different version here.
Yes. Movement releases endorphins, the body's natural painkillers. But it also gives you a dopamine hit that is sustainable.
Ah, sustainable.
Unlike the sugar crash, the exercise high leaves you feeling calm and focused because it helps regulate the nervous system. It actually burns off that cortisol we talked about earlier.
Now, I want to touch on a specific myth they debunked regarding strength training. I think a lot of people, especially beginners, worry that if they lift weights, they're going to accidentally turn into a bodybuilder overnight.
Yes.
Like they'll do one squat and rip their shirt.
Sophie laughs at this in the source, and rightly so.
Yeah.
It takes years of extreme dedication and specific diet to look like a bodybuilder. You don't stumble into massive muscles.
So for the rest of us.
For the rest of us, strength training is about functional strength.
I liked the analogy of the retirement fund.
It's a great way to view it. Muscles and bones naturally weaken as we age. Strength training is essentially saving up strength for the future.
So you're investing now.
You are investing now so you can still carry your groceries, pick up your grandkids, and get up from a chair when you're 80. It's not about vanity. It's about longevity.
And to keep doing it, you have to actually like it. They distinguish between extrinsic motivation, like wanting to fit into old jeans, and intrinsic motivation.
Extrinsic motivation usually fades. Once you fit in the jeans, you stop.
Right.
Intrinsic motivation, doing it because it feels fun, lasts. Their advice is simple. If you hate running, for the love of God, don't run.
Please don't run.
Find social exercise. Hiking with friends, dancing, playing frisbee. When you're laughing with friends, you aren't thinking about the work. You're distracted from the effort.
One last thing on movement before we move on, the no pain, no gain motto. This is practically tattooed on the forehead of the fitness industry.
And the source says, trash it. It's dangerous advice for the average person.
Really?
They draw a hard line between discomfort and pain. Discomfort muscles feeling warm, heavy, or tired is good. That's growth.
The pain.
Pain sharp, sudden, stinging hurt is a stop signal. Ignoring that signal isn't tough. It's how you get injured and end up on the couch for 6 months.
Okay, so we fueled the car with wood energy, we've driven the car with activity snacks, and now we need to park the car. Pillar 3, recovery.
And specifically, sleep and mental health.
Yes, and according to the expert in the source, this is the foundation. You can eat perfectly and run marathons, but without sleep, the whole structure collapses.
Completely.
They described sleep as the brain's cleaning crew. I thought this was such a vivid image.
It's a very accurate metaphor for what neuroscientists call the glymphatic system. During the day, your brain cells are working hard, and they produce metabolic waste.
Okay.
Think of it like confetti left over after a party.
I like that.
When you sleep, your brain cells actually shrink slightly to create space, and fluid washes through to flush out that waste. That is the cleaning crew.
So if you don't sleep...
The trash piles up. The cleaning crew never clocked in.
Which leads to the sleep debt myth. This is the idea that I can sleep 5 hours a night during the week hustle culture, right? And then sleep 12 hours on Saturday to pay it back.
The source is very clear. You cannot bank sleep.
Yeah.
If the cleaning crew doesn't show up Monday through Friday, you're walking around with a dirty brain. You can't clean a week's worth of trash in one Saturday morning. The damage is already done.
Dirty brain. That explains so much about how I feel on Fridays. So what regulates this cleaning schedule? They talked about the circadian rhythm.
The internal clock, circa, means around, dies means day. It's regulated almost entirely by light and a hormone called melatonin.
The vampire hormone.
Yes, because it only comes out in the dark. It signals to your body that it's time to sleep. But we have a modern problem that kills vampires.
Blue light.
Blue light. This is where we come back to digital coffee.
Right.
Screens, phones, laptops, TVs emit a specific frequency of blue light. To your ancient biological brain, blue light looks exactly like sunlight at high noon.
So if you're scrolling Instagram at 11:00 p.m. in bed,
You are chemically screaming at your brain, "It's noon! Stay awake!"
you're suppressing the melatonin. You're firing the cleaning crew before they can start.
Precisely.
So what's the fix? They suggested a digital sunset.
A beautiful concept. The sun goes down outside, so make the sun go down inside. 30 to 60 minutes before bed, you turn off the glowing rectangles. No screens.
But what do you do? I think people panic a little at the idea of no screen.
You read a paper book. You stretch. You listen to a podcast or music, something audio only. You have to create darkness for the vampire hormone to do its job.
But what if you do that, you get in bed, it's dark, and then your brain just won't shut up? They called this the monkey mind.
The racing thoughts, jumping from branch to branch. Did I lock the door? Did I send that email? Why did I say that stupid thing in 2004?
Oh, the 2004 regrets are the worst.
My source suggests a brain dump. It sounds messy, but it's a cleaning technique. You keep a physical notebook and pen by the bed.
Analog tools.
Analog tools. You write down everything you're worried about or need to do tomorrow. By physically moving the thought from your head to the paper, your brain feels it's safe to let go.
You've captured the thought.
Exactly. So you don't need to keep spinning it. It disconnects the anxiety loop.
Speaking of anxiety loops, they touched on FOMO, fear of missing out, which is usually triggered by those screens we're supposed to be turning off. But they offered a replacement acronym that I absolutely love.
JOMO.
JOMO.
The joy of missing out.
It sounds so peaceful just saying it.
It really is. It's the satisfaction of being present where you are.
Sure.
It's realizing, I don't know what's happening at that party or on Twitter or in the news right now, and that is delightful.
It's about protecting your mental energy.
Totally.
And finally, for those of us who need a little boost during the day, maybe the parents listening or students, they gave us the strategy for the perfect nap. Because I've definitely taken that 2-hour nap where you wake up not knowing what year it is or who is president.
That's called sleep inertia. You fell into deep sleep and your brain got confused when you yanked it back out.
Right.
The source recommends the power nap. 20 minutes maximum.
Not 20.
It's enough time to refresh the prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of the brain, without entering the deep sleep cycle that leaves you groggy.
So set an alarm, 20 minutes or bust.
That's the rule.
So putting this all together, we've got fuel, wood energy, movement, NEAT and activity snacks, and recovery, cleaning the dirty brain. What I love about this collection of advice is that none of it requires a membership or expensive equipment.
That's the beauty of it. And the sources emphasize that these aren't three separate boxes. They are interconnected.
It's a system.
Exactly. If you eat the wood energy instead of sugar, you have the consistent energy to take that walk. If you walk and get those endorphins, you reduce the stress that causes the hungry in the heart, emotional eating. And if you do a digital sunset, you sleep better, which clears the brain so you have the willpower to make better food choices the next day.
It's a positive feedback loop. Everything feeds everything else.
And the opposite is true, too. Bad sleep leads to sugar cravings, which leads to a crash, which leads to skipping the gym. You have to break the cycle somewhere.
And that brings us back to the 80-20 rule and that idea of forgiveness. The source asks a great question at the end. Which pillar is your weak point?
Right.
You don't have to fix your whole life tomorrow.
No. Is it the sugar breakfast? Is it the gymtimidation? Or is it the doom scrolling at midnight? Pick one. Just one.
And remember the most forgiving advice from the whole series. Your next choice is a new start. Health isn't a final exam you pass or fail. It's just a series of choices, thousands a day. And if you mess one up, the very next one is a chance to get it right.
That is a powerful thought. Right. You are always just one choice away from getting back on track.
So here is our challenge to you. Don't just listen to this deep dive and nod your head. Do one small thing right now. Take an activity snack. Stand up and stretch while you're listening to this.
Or go drink a glass of water.
Yeah, add a slice of lemon if you're feeling fancy.
Or put your phone down and enjoy a little JOMO.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into healthy habits. It's simple stuff, but sometimes the simple stuff is the hardest to actually do.
Couldn't agree more.
We'll catch you on the next one. Stay healthy, everyone.